Good evening and welcome to the 7 o'clock English news from the Sultanate of Oman Television. First, the headlines. The GCC Ministerial Council in Riyadh discusses the GCC state members' relations with other countries and global coalitions. The GCC Agricultural Cooperation Committee adopts the amended veterinary quarantine law and the guidelines for veterinary establishments. And the World Health Organization office in Muscat stresses that the Sultanate has reached to advanced stages in healthcare services at the international level. Those are the headlines, and now the news in detail. Strategic relations between GCC countries and global coalitions topped discussions of the 149th session for GCC Ministerial Council meeting, which was held at Riyadh, capital city of Saudi Arabia. Their Highnesses and Excellencies, foreign ministers at Gulf Cooperation Council countries held two separate meetings with His Excellency Dr. Ahmed Awad bin Mubarak, Foreign Minister of Yemen, and His Excellency Dr. Fuad Hussein, Foreign Minister of Iraq. This comes within the framework of supporting sisterly countries and strengthening security and stability in the region. The Sultan delegation to the meeting was chaired by His Excellency Sayyid Badr bin Hamad Al Busaidi, Foreign Minister. The Sultan, represented by the Ministry of Agricultural and Fisheries, Wealth and Water Resources, participated in the 31st ministerial meeting of the Agricultural Cooperation Committee of the GCC countries via video conference. The meeting discussed a number of topics related to the food security, agriculture and fish sectors, in addition to discussing the establishment of a Gulf Bank for plant genetic origins. It was also agreed during the meeting to keep the plant quarantine fees applied in inter-quarantine inquiries on agricultural products of national origin and to approve list of restricted and prohibited pesticides in the GCC countries. The Sultan's delegation to the meeting was headed by His Excellency Dr. Saud bin Hamoud Al-Habsi. The Sultan joined the World Patient Safety Day 2021, dedicated to safe maternal and newborn care. On this occasion of a scientific conference of the 4th National and the 3rd World Patient Safety Day, which was inaugurated this morning under the auspices of Her Highness Sayyida Dr. Muna bint Fahad Al Said, Assistant Vice Chancellor for International Cooperation at Sultan Qaboos University. More details in the following report by Abdullah bin Ahmed Al-Rubai.
In line with the World Patient Safety Day observed on 17th of September every year, the scientific conference of the 4th National and the 3rd World Patient Safety Day, inaugurated today under the auspices of Her Highness Sayyida Dr. Muna bint Fahad Al Said, Assistant Vice Chancellor for International Cooperation at Sultan Qaboos University, with the presence of Health Minister His Excellency Dr. Ahmed bin Mohammed Al Saidi and a good number of government officials, while the majority from Oman and outside Oman participated virtually.
Oman was the country who proposed an annual Patient Safety Day in the first ministerial summit regarding patient safety in London in 2016, and I'm glad we had the support of the world community realizing the importance of this day. The theme for this year, mainly safe care for mother and newborn. And in Oman, like the rest of the world, unfortunately, healthcare system services were affected by COVID-19. But because of our primary healthcare existence and the healthcare system in Oman, we managed to maintain most of the essential services.
The event conducted through this conference held today and pre-conferences held earlier, while a range of scientific activities lined up to be carried out across the Sultanate healthcare institutions from 17th of September to 7th of October under the same theme, safe maternal and newborn care. Participation of WHO Eastern Mediterranean Region Director Dr. Ahmed Al-Mandari, who presented his paper virtually along with many others.
Patient safety and quality management, this requires a lot of coordination and coordination among all sectors. And this is how we see Oman succeeded in taking patient safety very high in all health facilities. And the most important issue is the monitoring framework of the patient safety, and this is applied.
Dr. Kamra Asariri, Director General of Quality Assurance Center, presented the journey of patient safety and its achievement in the Sultanate and excellent collaboration with a number of countries in the region. Announcement of the National Patient Safety Award for the year 2021 was made, where 6 winners received their awards and 4 e-poster winners.
We have received around 50 projects in competition for the National Patient Safety Initiatives from highly competent and highly skilled professionals across the country, in which we have chosen 6 winners among that by the highly skilled panel of judges.
These awards enhances the quality and safety system in the provision of health services in the Sultanate. This also motivates health workers, especially those who are qualified in the field of research, to create the research environment in line with patient safety standards.
We are here today to celebrate the 4th National and 3rd International Patient Safety Day. One of the important aspects today is that we are sharing our experience worldwide with other countries. We took the initiative of Patient Safety Friendly Hospital Initiative, and we enrolled 26 hospitals in this initiative, aiming to increase the quality of healthcare in Oman. Out of the 26 hospitals, 13 hospitals have been recognized by the WHO Patient Safety Friendly Hospital Initiative. And that achievement, we would like to share it with other hospitals in Oman, the government hospitals and also the private sector, and also internationally.
Dr. Rashid Al-Abri, Director of WHO Collaborating Center for Quality and Patient Safety Training, highlighted WHO 3rd World Patient Safety Day objectives. Dr. Saeed Al-Lamki, Director General of Primary Healthcare, spoke about safe maternal and newborn care in Oman. The Minister of Health has implemented many interventions to improve newborn health in Oman, including newborn care, newborn screening, immunization, and training of healthcare providers on neonatal. Ms. Amna, childhood specialist at the Minister of Social Development, highlighted the efforts of the Minister of Social Development Child Right Protection as the Sultanate is committed to utilizing all resources to ensure a bright future for them. World Patient Safety Day 2021 is dedicated to safe maternal and newborn care, recognizing the significant burden of avoidable harm women and newborns are exposed to due to unsafe care, particularly around the time of childbirth. Again, the disruption of health services due to the COVID-19 pandemic has further compounded the situation.
Patient safety is extremely important, knowing that worldwide at least 3 million people lose their life annually because of events happen in hospitals and other healthcare facilities. In Oman, luckily, we are doing much better. We are the first country to implement the patient safety friendly hospitals, and we covered most of our hospitals, 15 up till now, and we aim to cover all the hospitals in Oman.
Great contributions by healthcare staff amid critical time affected by COVID-19 by providing health and therapeutic care in spite of being confronted by this intolerable situation. Staff maintained safety for patient. Abdullah bin Ahmed Al-Rubi'i, Sultanate of Oman Television, Muscat.
The Ministry of Health announced 2 deaths and 41 new cases of COVID-19 in the Sultanate. It also registered 120 recovered cases. The ministry also reported that the total number of COVID-19 cases registered in the Sultanate reached 303,309, while the total number of deaths reached 4,092. The total recovered cases reached 293,618. The ministry indicated that the number of inpatients during the last 24 hours is 55, while 27 are in intensive care units. Readiness for schools in the Governorate of North Al-Batna have been finalized to receive students who will need to follow the unified regulations of the implementation of the preventive measures adopted by the Ministry of Education. School stockholders, including teachers and administrative staff, have set plans and strategies in motion to ensure high commitment to the preventive measures for the safety of all members of the school community. The setting in class rooms and other areas in schools were accommodated as the new regulations in place by ensuring a safe distance between students, minimal physical contact, taking temperatures at the entry to schools, and providing means to sanitize the places at regular intervals. Signposts and posters on preventive measures were fixed in schools, common grounds to guide and remind students of the proper process to follow. Titcamo News Bulletin. Broadway in New York woke up after a pandemic hit silence for around 18 months. Welcome back to the news from this haunted of Oman television. And now some international news. The head of the United Nations said today that nations had reached a tipping point on the need for climate action and recommended immediate, rapid and large-scale reductions in greenhouse gas emissions to avert serious climate consequences. Ahead of the annual UN General Assembly meeting next week, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres warned governments that climate change is occurring faster than predicted, and fossil fuel emissions have already bounced back from a pandemic dip. Speaking at the launch of a UN-backed report summarizing current efforts to tackle climate change, Guterres said recent extreme weather, from Hurricane Ida in the United States to floods in Western Europe and the deadly heat wave in the Pacific Northwest, showed no country is safe from climate-related disasters. In a report titled United in Science 21, 6 UN bodies and scientific organizations drew on existing research to argue that there is a direct link between human-caused emissions, record high temperatures, and disasters that have a tangible impact on individuals and societies. In Indonesian court ruled on Thursday that President Joko Widodo and 6 other top officials have neglected citizens' rights to clean air and ordered them to improve the poor air quality in the capital, Jakarta. A 3-judge panel at the Central Jakarta District Court notched a victory for a healthy living environment, siding with 32 residents who filed a lawsuit 2 years ago against Widodo and the other officials. The judges voted in favor of the plaintiffs under the coalition of the Clean Air Initiative. The plaintiffs, who included activists, public figures, motorists and pollution disease victims, did not ask for financial compensation and instead demanded a more robust supervision and sanctions for offenders. The severe air pollution in Jakarta stemmed mostly from vehicle emissions, factories and coal-fired power plants located in the neighboring provinces of Banten and West Java. A baby killer whale that had been stranded in Russia's Far East was rescued. The rescue took place in the Magadan region after the killer whale was left stranded when a low tide occurred in the Genta Bay. Even though the whale was relatively small, it couldn't manage to go back into the sea on its own. For several hours, rescuers and volunteers poured water on the killer whale to keep it from going dry until the orca managed to swim back into the open water. Adult killer whales can reach a length of 8 meters. And Broadway's biggest musicals roared back to life on September 14th, replacing the airy silence of the last 18 months in New York's pandemic-hit theater district, with screams, tears, and standing ovations. Here's a report.
Emotions were giddy as the curtain rose again on top musicals Hamilton, The Lion King and Wicked, before packed audiences welcoming back live theatre after the coronavirus shut down. Hamilton creator Lin-Manuel Miranda got a standing ovation when he appeared on stage before the start of his Tony Award-winning hip-hop show about America's founding fathers. Broadway was one of the first institutions to close when the pandemic hit in mid-March 2020 and is the last to reopen in the United States. It has taken months to upgrade air filter systems and figure out how to maintain social distancing on stages.
Thank you for getting vaccinated and wearing a mask and supporting live theater. I'm so grateful to you, and I hope you go see as many shows as you can and keep supporting our industry.
Hamilton, The Lion King and Wicked were the biggest box office earners, each taking in more than $1 million a week before the pandemic shuttered some 40 theaters in mid-March 2020, throwing thousands of actors, stagehands, musicians and dancers out of work. Musicals Hadestown and Waitress returned 10 days ago, and the first new play, Passover, opened its doors in August.
It's so incredible, and I think, it just shows the magic and just how powerful theater can be, and how, this whole thing has just felt like a huge family reunion with people that I don't even know, but that just shows like how powerful the theater community is, and I'm just so grateful that everyone is back.
Another dozen musicals and plays will reopen during September, bringing back one of the city's biggest cultural attractions. City authorities hope the return will spur tourism and revitalize once crowded restaurants and hotels near Times Square. Broadway and city authorities are organizing a weekend festival of concerts and performances in Times Square to promote theater, with performers from 18 musicals taking part.
You're watching the Sultan of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The GCC Ministerial Council in Riyadh discusses the GCC state members' relations with other countries and global coalitions. The GCC Agricultural Cooperation Committee adopts the amended veterinary quarantine law and the guidelines for veterinary establishments. And the World Health Organization office in Muscat stresses that the Sultanate has reached to advanced stages in healthcare services at the international level. And with that, we come to the end of tonight's bulletin. From all of us here in the newsroom and the studios, stay safe and have a good weekend. Good night.